My name is Ramanan, and I'm the Mission Director of Atal Innovation Mission. It is indeed a pleasure and privilege for me to connect with you all on this Digital Senate Summit organized by Tech Observer during this year. It is a summit which focuses on how can we make a resilient Bharat, an Atmanirbhar Bharat. How do we make it as a new norm? And what are the things that go towards suggesting that we can indeed achieve the Atmanirbhar Bharat of our dreams? As the mission director of Atal Innovation Mission, which is a flagship initiative at the Niti Aayog, the National Institution for Transforming India, the focus of Atal Innovation Mission, which was actually the brainchild of the Honorable Prime Minister, has been how do we create and promote an ecosystem of innovation and entrepreneurship across the length and breadth of our country so that we are able to carry this large country, a country of 1.3 billion people, to its rightful destination of growth, both from a social point of view as well as from an economic point of view. How do we ensure that we create a nation of job creators, not just job seekers? And as the Honorable Prime Minister very eloquently pointed out in his Atmanirbhar Bharat call, the call for a self-resilient India, an India that is not only capable of meeting its own challenges and its own demands and its own opportunities, but also be able to fulfill the demands of the rest of the world. Now, this is extremely evident right now in the fact that India is one of the largest providers of COVID vaccine on a free capacity to many countries that need it. And it shows the immense capability and power that India has in its ability to not only be an innovative country, but to also in the process service the rest of the world. Now, why is it so important for us to look at Atmanirbhar Bharat and ensure that we become a part of the innovation, entrepreneurship, and scientific technology bandwagon that is driving the powering of Atmanirbhar Bharat? After all, we are a country of 1.3 billion people. But most importantly, we enjoy what is called as a demographic dividend, which is the envy of many a country. We have more than 65% of our country under 35 years old. We have 1.4 million schools in our country, more than 10,500 engineering and related institutions, more than 39,000 colleges. And we have 150 million young students entering into the workplace over the next 5 to 10 years. Now, it is upon these 150 million young students lies the future of our dreams and lies the future of our country. And that is why the 5 pillars that the Honorable Prime Minister pointed out in Atmanirbhar Bharat makes so much sense in order for us to be able to pursue that dream. Let me talk a little bit on the 5 pillars. The first pillar that he identified was a pillar of the demographic dividend, which I just talked about. How do we ensure that our young people, the people who are graduating from our schools, from our universities and entering into the industry, how do we empower them to become problem solvers and innovators and job creators of the future? And like I mentioned, it is important for us to provide them with tools, technologies, and the ability to become entrepreneurial. And that is why the Atal Innovation Mission has launched many initiatives to ensure this. First and foremost, at a school level, we have launched thousands of Atal Tinkering Labs. These labs are dedicated innovation workspaces in schools where the latest of technologies like 3D printers, robotics, IoT devices, miniaturized electronics, and augmented virtual reality are being made available to the young students so that they can create solutions to problems they see in and around the community. And these are, mind you, students between grade 6 to grade 12. So what we are essentially trying to do is convert the rote learning mindset that we have all been used to growing with and to convert it into a problem solving innovative mindset. So that when these students go into the universities, they already go as potential problem solvers and innovators. And there in the universities, they have to create and they have to make available an ecosystem that supports their entrepreneurial ventures or their entrepreneurial ideas and their entrepreneurial ambitions. That is why across the country, Atal Innovation Mission has launched more than 10,000 Atal Tinkering Labs, with 7,000 of them already operational, enabling more than 3.5 million young students to gain access to these technologies of the future, technologies upon which solutions of tomorrow are being built. And it has been amazing to see the depth and the breadth of the innovations that are being created by these young students. For example, in the Atal Tinkering Marathon that we launch every year, the one that we launched last year, we had more than 50,000 students participating in that. More than 8,000 prototype of innovations got created with sustainable development goals aligned innovations. And that is another beautiful thing that is coming out. The importance of understanding that innovation and entrepreneurship and economic growth has to be aligned with sustainable development goals so that we are able to live in a happier and a better planet and in a sustainable planet. And at the same time, we also found that 45% of the winners of the Atal Tinkering Marathon event were girl students. And that in this week of International Women's Week and on the International Women's Day, it is extremely fructifying to know that our girls and our women children are being able to be as the innovators and the job creators of the future. Now, when you go into the universities, what Atal Innovation Mission is doing is creating world-class incubators to foster world-class startups. This is very important because we are a startup nation. We are one of the fastest growing startup nations of the world. We have more than 55,000 startups in our country. We have more than 400 incubators, and we have 34 unicorns. What is also amazing is that just in the last year, which is the COVID-19 year, which was a year of crisis, not only for India, but for the rest of the world, we had 11 unicorns springing up from India. And that shows the tremendous innovative capability that is inherent in our young students. After all, we have leapt from a position of 81 in the Global Innovation Index to a position of 36 in just 5 years. And that's an amazing leap of innovative capability of a country. Therefore, the aspiration of the country today is how can we be among the global top 10 innovative countries of the world in the next 10 years? And it is indeed a possibility because of this demographic dividend. Now, when the students go into the universities, these incubators enable the startups that are created by the students to escape what they call as valleys of death in a startup life cycle. It's very important to be able to support a startup during their evolutionary cycle, especially mentoring support, venture capital support, business planning strategy support, support for human resources, access to a technology lab or access to a research lab, or access to mentoring. These are very important factors in order for startups to be able to bridge the valleys of death in their startup life cycle. And that is what these world-class incubators are planning or are doing from Atal Innovation Mission. We have established 68 incubators across the country, and more than 1,916 startups have come out of this ecosystem just in the last 3 years. Now, that's an amazing growth of number of startups in a very short period of time. Also, it is very heartening to note that 575 of them are women-led startups. Now, when you have in India, we have more than 49% of our population as women and the girl child. However, we have only 13% women entrepreneurs in our country. So the Atal Innovation Mission's numbers today are indeed very satisfying because we have more than 33% of our entrepreneurial strength and women-led startups forming the ecosystem of startups from the Atal Innovation Mission. We are striving, and every incubator is striving to ensure inclusivity and equality of opportunity for women-led entrepreneurship and women-led startups. And it is our hope that more than 50% of the startups that come out of the Atal Innovation Mission will be women-led startups. Now let's go to the next pillar that the Honorable Prime Minister talked about in Atmanirbhar Bharat, and that is the pillar of infrastructure. We need to ensure that the pillar of infrastructure is strengthened across the country. After all, we are a country with more than 715 districts. We have over 4,000 small towns and cities. We have 650,000 villages. We have only 8 tier 1 cities. It is not possible for a sustainable growth of our country if all the people are flocking only to the 8 tier 1 cities. And therefore, it is very important for us to create world-class infrastructure, not only physical infrastructure, but also the digital infrastructure, which enables every village and every city to become smart. We need smart villages, smart districts, smart cities, smart electricity management, smart water management, smart renewable energies powering the city, because these are the opportunities that every city or every village has, and thereby creating thousands of hubs of innovation and job creation. We need to ensure also that products and services from the remotest part of the country, whether they are tribal districts, hilly districts, coastal districts of our country, is able to reach different parts of the globe. And that is possible because of the digital transformations that are happening all across the world. We have technology which is enabling you to create products and sell those products from Sikkim to San Francisco, from Salem to Seattle, from Jodhpur to Japan. That is the possibility in today's digitally transforming world. And how do we enable that physical infrastructure and the digital infrastructure to enable all the young students to find entrepreneurial opportunities to address these challenges? That is the opportunity available for all of us in India. The third pillar that the Honorable Prime Minister talked about is the pillar of demand. We have 1.3 billion people, so we have tremendous demand. We don't need to look anywhere else across in the world for this demand. In fact, countries from all over the world are flocking to India to address this demand. So our entrepreneurs and our startups have a tremendous opportunity to address this demand in the domestic world. And when we address the domestic demand, we also create the opportunities for fulfilling global demand. And that is why the Prime Minister's call for go vocal for local so that you can go global makes a lot of sense. COVID-19 vaccine is a great example where we were primarily looking at how do we address our demand, but in the process, we also created the manufacturing capability and the distribution capability for servicing the rest of the world. Now, this is very important when we are looking at addressing the pillar of demand. The fourth pillar is the pillar of socio-economic progress. Now, pillar of socio-economic progress implies that we need to ensure that we do not have a digital divide. We do not have a socio-economic divide. We should have no divide between the haves and the have-nots. Out of 715 districts which are there in our country, 115 of them are aspirational districts. And they're called aspirational districts because they're at the bottom of the pyramid in terms of basic access to healthcare, education, medicine, clean drinking water, sanitation, waste management, or affordable housing. These are challenges that need to be addressed so that India can grow uniformly. Now, what we need to do, therefore, is create hubs of innovation and job creation all across the country. And we need to launch challenges for our young entrepreneurs and our young students to be able to create the solutions that these districts, these communities need. Take, for example, a community in Goa. Now, Goa is known for its fishing industry, its tourism industry. It's known for its shipbuilding industry, mining industry, and cashew nut industry. So how do we ensure that we create community innovation centers in these districts so that you are able to create local innovation and local job creation? So the Atal Innovation Mission has launched the setting up of Atal Community Innovation Centers across the country. And these centers are being set up in tier 2, tier 3 cities and rural India so that we are able to spur local community-centric driven innovation and local job creation. Now, in order to address the multiple challenges that India has, the fifth pillar is very important, and that is the pillar of technology. Technology has become affordable, accessible, available, and advanced. 3D printing is revolutionizing the way you are able to design, conceptualize, prototype, and manufacture a product right in front of your eyes in your own Kirana store or from your home. You have robotics, which is driving the next level of automation and productivity. You have sensor technologies, which is getting integrated into man, machine, device, soil, space, and it is able to communicate vast amounts of data from whichever device or whichever element it is integrated with, and thereby enable us to take speedy decisions about what to do in a particular situation. And we have artificial intelligence now, which has become a reality because this great convergence of advanced computing, advanced communications, advanced sensor technologies, and the ability of software to process large amounts of data using big data and analytics is making artificial intelligence a reality. And in a country like India, artificial intelligence can actually power so many solutions for good. And that's why India is in a unique position to be able to address all the five pillars of Atmanirbhar Bharat: the pillar of demographic dividend, the pillar of socio-economic progress, the pillar of infrastructure, and the pillar of demand, leveraging technology to the hilt. And so the Atal Innovation Mission has launched a series of challenges called Atal New India Challenges and Arise Challenges. These challenges are meant to stimulate Make in India innovations using technology, leveraging technology, and at the same time leveraging new business models that can make it happen. And these challenges are driven in conjunction with ministries who tell us what are the challenges that are most relevant to our country. Take, for example, we are a 44% agri-economy based country. How do we ensure that we leverage technology for precision agriculture to reach out to different markets, to redefine supply chains, and to enable farmer productivity and farmer growth and farmer income? How do we ensure that we have clean drinking water and leveraging sensor technologies? How do we ensure that we make affordable housing and smart cities, leveraging smart metering, renewable energies, and so on? So the challenges are endless, and using Atal New India challenges and Arise challenges that we arrive at along with the ministries, we are able to stimulate Make in India innovations, both for the MSME industry, the startup industry, and the larger sectors. Indeed, India is at a watershed moment in its history, where this tremendously demographic dividend rich country, one of the fastest growing economies of the world, with advanced, available, affordable, and accessible technology, has the power to become one of the fastest growing innovative nations of the world and make an impact and achieve the dreams that Atmanirbhar Bharat talks about. How do we make a self-resilient India? An India that not only serves its own country, but is able to serve the rest of the world. In the words of Abdul Kalam, he said, dream big and you'll achieve great things. Dream small and you will be limited by your own dreams. So let us all dream big and make sure that in the new norm that we are talking about, the pillars of Atmanirbhar Bharat are strengthened through science, technology, innovation, and entrepreneurship. And let us, in the words of Swami Vivekananda, who said, arise, awake, and stop not till our goals are reached. Let us arise to the opportunities and the challenges that India has. Let us awaken the innovative talent and the native talent that Indians have to be able to solve such problems. And let us stop not till the goals of Atmanirbhar Bharat are reached. Thank you so much for giving me a chance to participate and share a few thoughts on this important occasion.